No, please don't crash. Please don't crash. What up, you guys, and welcome back. WOLVSAid, the engineers here, and this is Kerbal Massive Engineering. As usual, today is gonna be glorious. I've been looking at some videos and photos, and I was inspired by Spaceship 2 and the Strato launcher in Kerbal Space Program here. Alright, so as you can see, the Strato launcher is a bad mix of both Spaceship 2 and the Pegasus missile. So I want to take this a little bit step forward. I want a better Strato launcher that looks like a Spaceplane 2 and capable of returning back to KSC, just like this one. And I want a rocket that looks like an actual Pegasus 2 with the exact amount of stage and capable of having a payload. So let's cook something up, shall we? Okay, so I cooked something up and it's well done. Okay, so from top to bottom, we got a satellite here with a strong relay. By that I mean 2 Gs. But we got an antenna of 100 G. This rocket is, well, it's a satellite really. It doesn't have much of it, but here we got the returning stage and another stage and then another stage. So the idea is Spaceship 2, which is this, controlled by this head, has to go all the way up to 12 kilometers, maybe more or less. And that's done by a Panther engine and a Whiplash turbo ramjet engine. And then it will release. Now the releasing mechanism is done by a locking port. So once this will be released, there will be no ejection force, whether up or down. So this airplane should not crash in pieces. And then the solid rocket booster S1 will kick in, will get us up to suborbital flight. And then the other rocket will continue on a suborbital flight. And then the LV909 should give us a nice and smooth orbit. And we will still have some extra fuel. I would say a couple of Delta Vs. Now in total, there's a lot of Delta V on this. I'm looking at, holy shit. Okay, so I'm looking at around 6,000. We do not need that, but let's give it a flight and see how will it work. Alright, there we are on the runway, and as it seems, my head is sideways. I have no idea why is that. I guess it's because we need to take control of this probe. Alright, so we're looking at full power, and we are launching in 3, 2, engine ignition, release the brake, and there we go. Now the Panther engine should be capable of giving us a lift up. By the way, for the rest of the airplane, I kind of forgot to show you guys, this is a Delta shaped wing. And from the inside I put some extra wing to keep the airplane going straight forward, as you can see. And takeoff speed is 100 meters. Okay, well there we go. We got a lift off the runway. Now Captain Jebediah is standing at the tower and laughing his asses off, as he knew this one is meant to crash. So while we're cruising, I think it's fair to mention that as usual I will be posting this airplane up on Kerbal X. Now this is a stock airplane, so you didn't need any mod. However, it's a fair warning to say use Kerbal joint reinforcements, otherwise add some stress to it, since I didn't do that, to be honest. Alright, so we are coming up to our distant altitude. We are looking at 9 kilometers. Our speed is 290 meters per second. I guess it's about time now for us to release the rocket and head upward. So I guess the manual mentioned press 1 to release. 1. Alright, and we got a smooth separation. We are looking at 9 kilometers, engine ignition, and we're up on our fairway. Spaceship 2 now should be heading safely back home. Alright, so we give control to MechJib. We are trying to achieve some velocity before we start pulling upward. Now we are looking at 600 meters per second. I would say that's enough for this altitude. Let's pull our nose 45 degrees, heading toward our orbit. Now honestly, I have no idea how far would these things go. Like, the satellite is small and therefore the Delta V meter would be it might hold 3000 Delta V. I want to aim to, let's hit a joule, shall we? I would say let's bring this satellite to orbit Joule, or crash on Joule at least. Or maybe Duna. You know, I always wanted to go to Duna. Let's head to Duna. If we actually survived. Megjib, are you drunk? Megjib, focus. Okay, so apparently Megjib is losing control. We finished the stage and now we separate. We're heading up to 45-degree angle toward the space. Now our apoapse is reaching 44 kilometers. I'm not complaining. That's good. Now for the last stage. Okay, now we got the problem. The problem, we was controlling the wrong probe. So again, we are going to reduce our heading, our pitch down to 0, or well, 15 degree. I don't want to overkill it. And let's shoot for an orbit. As you can see, there is no air pressure at this point, so we're not losing any speed. It's safe to say we are in space, and we actually have a lot of fuel still to spare. We are looking at half tank of solid fuel and a full huge tank of the LV909. Now let's look at the Delta V map. We got 4000 Delta V, which is more than enough to get us into orbit around Duna. Now would we make it is a question that's still there. We have finished with the solid rocket booster. Now we need to finish our orbit. We are going to use the LV909 to have a high orbit around Kerbin. So we're looking at 600 kilometers at least. And from that high orbit, we will be aiming toward Duna. Now, first things first, let's separate the shield. And there goes light. Alright, so we have achieved a 670 kilometer orbit, and we are going to use Megjib to give us a stable orbit. So it's gonna circleize as per the maneuver point. It should be good, but I don't want to believe that. So we are using the LV909 for our control. Now we need to switch back to our original probe, which I cannot find, and there it is, control from here. Now this is down for it. So while we're at it, I think it's fair to say extend the antenna so we can use this as a relay, because this have the range of 2G, and if we reached the orbit around Duna, we would not be having connection back home because we don't have a satellite network. And we are reaching our orbital velocity, fine tuning for the end of it. Let's reduce the thrust on the engine. I want to be surprised. How good is the orbit? Holy shit. It's around 100 meter difference from the old one. Alright, so first things first, we need to have an advanced transfer to another planet. Let's try to shoot for Duna and see when is our transfer windows coming in. Well, Duna is there, we got 45 degree, shit. I will tell you, this is gonna take a year. The nearest transfer window is after 200 days. And there's something wrong with the transfer window though. Okay, so we're going to encounter Duna with an inclination of -0.0 degree and with the apoapse of almost 1 million meter. Now, I am not complaining about that, but apparently there is something wrong with the probe control room. We are losing and gaining connection back to Kerbin, so we're still wrapping to 100 day. I'm gonna skip forward this part for you and finish the initial porn, then when I'll be back, we will be going toward Duna. Alright, looking at the Delta V map and the Delta V that we got, we are looking at 800 meter per second Delta V, and we got 3500 now. Apparently the coast is clear. We are not going to interfere with the moon or Minmus on our way there, but that's even better because we don't want any change to the orbit. So once we reach halfway toward Duna, we're gonna install another maneuver point to fine-tune the closest approach to Duna in order for us to achieve an orbit. We might even use an aerodynamic, atmospheric braking to slow ourselves down to achieve an orbit around Duna. But with the Delta V we got, which is a lot, I don't think I'm gonna use that. Anyway, let's push the engine to its limit. Now we are looking at 60 kilonewton of thrust, and with the weight to thrust ratio we got 1.5, which is more than great. Okay, something went terribly wrong. I don't know why Makeship done that, but fuck. What the hell, Makeship? The node was doing well. We almost reached Duna, and then the transfer node started acting weirdly. I cannot create a maneuver node now to Duna, so I'm gonna just go to the sun and then try to do a human transfer to it. Okay, let's move a little bit forward. Now we are looking at... what the hell? Okay, this is bad because this maneuver node will take... oh, 800. Okay, that's nice. I'm gonna fine-tune first myself some maneuvers. Let's say we are here, Duna is there. I want a maneuver node here to push ourselves upward. There we go. So, holy shit. Okay, so we're looking at 180 delta V. We need to fine-tune the orbit before we head forward. So I'm gonna put the node toward the node and push ourselves a little bit forward in order for us to encounter Duna. Now I hate doing this by myself because the closest approach is gonna be 300 kilometers, which is a lot, and gosh. Okay, back again to trying to fix this. I'm clumsy when it comes to rockets and shit. Okay, so we have a closest approach, but I'm gonna give Makejib another chance. We're gonna use a fine-tune approach to the target. I'm heading toward 200 kilometers. With the maneuver node, hopefully it will be okay. So I'll see you guys then. Okay, there we go. We have approached Duna. We're actually coming in hot. We have a periapse of 200 kilometers. Now, once again, since I'm lazy, I'm going to use Makejib to circularize at our periapse. So if we plan the maneuver node, it's gonna take us approximately 700 delta V. Holy shit, that's a lot. Alright, but we got 2200 delta V. On a second thought, I might even land on Duna. For the fun of it, we can land using the engine. I'm not entirely sure about the specific impulse of this engine, but it's either a Duna or a bust. Thankfully, so far so good. We do have connection to Kerbin, and even by the time we do the retrograde burn, we do have connection to Kerbin. In case we lost the connection to Kerbin, we're screwed. Electric power is good so far. We have solar panel on the side of the craft, which is pointed toward the sun at all time. And yep, we achieved an orbit around Duna. Now that's what I call a Strato launcher. I'm going to name this craft a Strato launcher, a proper Strato launcher. Maybe, just maybe, this will be approved into the community and it's gonna be the standard edition of the Strato launcher. But as a bonus footage for you guys, I want to land this damn thing. So we're gonna take control from this probe once again. And there is two ways of landing. One, like a rocket. Two, like an airplane. And three, the engineer's way. So we're gonna do a small fly around Duna using these two wings, which will give us some aero brake to save up some fuel. Now we're gonna do some retro burn here to bring our orbit down. The atmosphere is 50 kilometers around Duna. Now we're going to skip forward and do some little bit of aero braking before we turn back, go back to the other side of the planet, gain control to the probe because, well, we really don't have control of the probe as of now. So I'm gonna put it toward its heading, which is this, and then speed forward. So by the time we lose control, which is now, we don't need to worry about anything because the probe's gonna steer itself using these wings, so it's gonna always point upward. These wings are above the center of the mass, and therefore these wings should be on top at all time. Oh my god, Makejib does have control. Ooh, that's better. Let's try without Makejib. Alright. Now we are on Duna, we have no control over the rocket. I am not touching the control. Makejib, or sorry, black screen, make me proud. Now looking at the math ball, this is our only point of view we got. I would say everything's looking good. We are diving a little bit because again the wing is behind the center of the mass. Okay, we are diving more than what we should. No, mayday, mayday. Holy shit. Okay, we're flat spinning. This was a bad idea. And I was like, what could possibly go wrong? Well, this is what could possibly go wrong. The rocket is flat spinning. I cannot see the rocket and I cannot see any drag things happening. There is some atmospheric pressure right here, but we don't have any control. Now there is a problem. We don't have control over the rocket, so it'd only be cheating if I done this, which I have just did. So we're trying to keep ourselves pulled up. Oh, we actually got control, so it's not technically cheating, although we kind of preached the planet to have this connection. Now we are pointing at 0 degree. I would say let's make it 0 degree from here, 100%. We're going toward the orbit. Once we reach the place where I can see where I'm heading, we are going to turn back and land this thing like a rocket. Now the thrust weight ratio is 1, which is bad, but once we spend some fuel it will be okay. Now we got some approximately 1000 delta V. That's more than enough at the atmosphere, although once we go down and the air pressure increased, we're going to switch to the SLT. Okay, apparently we are losing speed. We are coming up on the horizon. We still can only see just the horizon above Duna. Now we are going to use some fuel to push ourselves a little bit forward. Okay, that was fixed with a little bit of amount of delta V amount. Okay, so we're going to skip forward a little bit more. Yep, I just want to see where am I landing. Alright, we're breaching the black side of Kerbin, the dark side of Duna, and we're coming up on the sun, and look at that. We are in between the dark zone and the light zone. So I guess now it will be a good time to pitch downward, try to gain some velocity while we can, and then try to kill that velocity while we can, because right now we got wings, so once we reach a lower atmosphere we can pull downward and then pull backward or upward. Shit. Okay, this is bad. Oops, my bad. Poof, gosh, noob mistake. I broke the antenna. This one does not work well in the atmosphere. Anyway, let's fix our heading back to... this is bad. Okay, so we used some force to do some aero braking. As you can see, we lost a lot of our delta V, our speed, our aero speed. And we're coming in on Duna. We're coming in at 100 meters per second. Actually, we can land this horizontally. I don't want to risk it, but let's go for it. Alright, so first things first, point toward the top, take control from here, and then do some burning. Now what am I doing is trying to keep our velocity from going downward, using the wings to slow ourselves down while we are afloat on top of Duna. And look at that. The moment we lose fuel, it will be more or less over. We got like 40 delta V. We're not spending any of these, to be honest. Alright, we finished with the fuel. Now we're gonna decouple, turn on the engine full power. Full power? Oh my god, I've just remembered, Megjeb is not here. This is bad, this is bad, this is definitely bad. No, please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash, no! Oh god, I screwed up badly. But that's it. As usual guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy today's video as usual. And until next time, stay tuned.